Okay, hello and welcome to a new video of Python, and I'm still using Python 3.8, so you might want to check that again if you're watching this for the first time, and also I highly recommend to watch part 1 before watching part 2. Okay, so with that done, I'm going to leave a link in the description for that. Okay, so let's see what we have so far. Let's run this. Okay, so what we have so far is a turtle. It's starting at negative 220, I think, for the x coordinate. Yep, negative 200, sorry. Negative 200 for the x coordinate. And if we press the right arrow key, it moves right. Press the left arrow key, turns the other direction, as you can see, and moves left. So this is not really fun. This doesn't really count as a game yet. What we want to do is we want to add some things to the game, like you can go on platforms. Uh, Mostly you can jump, so we want to add the jump part. So what we need to do is we need to change the player speed. So this player speed is going to be gone. We don't need this anymore, so I'm just going to delete this. Now, if I run this, then this code will not work. I'll show you why. So if I run this code wouldn't work. So as you can see, if I press the right arrow, it has a error. You see, player speed is not defined. So I need to change that as well. So now, this is not player speed anymore. We're going to create two new variables. We're going to create something called player.dx, and that equals 0, and player.dy equals 0. So you may be asking, what does dy and dx mean? So dx means the difference to the x coordinate. So if you want to move to the right, then you need to add to the dx. If you want to move to the left, to minus the dx, vice versa. And to dy is the same. Add, you're going up. Subtracting, you're going down. Okay, so what we need to do is to change this. So we're going to change this into player.dx since we're going along the x coordinate. But before we do that, we need to do something. So look, if I run this, it won't work. If I run this, look what happens. I'm pressing the right key, but it doesn't move. There's no error message. It's just that it's not moving. Press the right key, it's not moving at all. So what's the problem with that? So the problem with that is that we haven't set the dx to anything. So if we want to set the dx to anything, we have to call it over here. So to make the player go faster, we make it the dx a higher number. If we want the player to go slower, we make it a lower number. It's as simple as that. I'm going to put 5. Let's save this, and let's see how it runs this time. Okay, as you can see, turtle over here. Okay, let's try pressing the right arrow. As you can see, we're moving. We're moving to the right. Since we defined our player.dx over here, which equals 5, it's adding to the player.dx to become the new x coordinate. So let's do that for the other one as well. Let's change this to player.dx, and let's set this to player.dx equals 5. Okay, let's run this and see how it works. Okay, so we press the left arrow, to the left, right arrow, and it goes to the right. Okay, so when we're running this, let's run this again. Sorry. When we're running this, as you can see, if we're going to the right, we just go to the right. But if we go to the left, we keep on going off the screen. That's a problem. We need to change that. So this is what the main game loop is for. This is where you put all of your game code. So like the boundaries, states of your characters. We'll get into that later. But first, let's make a while true loop. So while true means it's just like it's running when everything is going. Like if everything's going, then it's gonna run. Okay, so while true. Then we want to do an if statement. So if player, how about we do this? This will be easier. So let's define x, which equals player.xcore. Okay, so now let's make our life easier. Let's do if x. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to actually put this inside the right arrow key pressed. I mean, left arrow key pressed, sorry. So we're going to put this inside here. Put if x, since we defined x equals player x score over here, if x is less than negative 400, then we're going to make x equals negative 400. That is key, because if we don't put this, sorry, there's a space over here, if we don't put this, then the computer doesn't know when to stop. So this is x equals negative 400, so that means the player.xscore is going to equal negative 400. It's going to stop over there, not going any further. So let's try that. Yeah. We need to delete this for now. We'll get back to it later. Okay. Now, I think it should work. Maybe it's a bit, maybe I get a bit bigger, I think. Okay. Let's make it a bit bigger. Okay, see? When I press the left arrow key, I can't move anymore. As you can see that. So, what we need to do with this, since we don't know the exact ones, we're going to draw a border to make it easier for us. So let's put it after the setup screen. So the border is going to draw after the screen is popped up. So we're going to draw a border. Okay. Let's do border equals turtle parentheses. Okay, now copy this since we're going to do a lot of those things. The speed is 0, and color is, say, black. Let's do the pen size. So this pen size means how thick the line is going to be. So let's make it 5. Border, so border dot pen up. We want it to pen up. I'll show you why. Then we're going to do set position to negative 300 by 300. Let's make it negative 300 by negative 300. So it's easier to do. It's a square. So it's easier to do. And it fits inside our screen, so that's good. Okay, oops, I did player. Border dot pen down now. We want to start drawing now. So now we're going to do something that is if you watched my Scratch videos, you might have seen a block called repeat something number of times. This is what we're going to do over here. So we're going to do a for side, doing side because it's a rectangle or a square. in range. So what this means, oops, I need to put the 4. So what this means is that it's going to repeat for each side 4 times. So square has 4 sides, so it's going to repeat it 4 times. 4 times. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to do border dot fd say 60. Then we're going to do border dot, let's turn left this time because we're going to the right, then we're going to go up. So let's do 90 degrees. The square is 90 degrees on each side. So there you have it. Let's do that. And since we don't want to see the border pen, we're just going to do border.st. So what this st means, it's short for something called HT. HT is short for hide turtle. It's going to hide the turtle after it did everything that we asked it to do. So we're going to run that. Ooh. Yeah. Oh yeah, I did 60, sorry. Pretty low actually. So what is inside this parentheses is how many pixels it goes. So since this is negative 300 by negative 300, I think we have 300 pixels. That should be enough to go around. Still isn't good, really. You can play around with these numbers if you want. Let's try 1,000. Don't think it's gonna be good enough, but let's see. Okay. Let's actually try 800. And let's see what goes over here. Still too big. Oh yes, it's 600. I'm sorry about that. It's 600. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Yeah, there we go. But now this is like a real square now, as you can see. Put both sides into the screen. There's a real rectangle now. Square, rectangle. So we need to do it according to the square now, since that's the border. So what we want to do is we want to change this, not to negative 400, otherwise we would be going through the border. We're going to do negative 300. That's how wide the border is in the X. So let's test that. And we should be stopping at the border. Okay, so we're stopping at the border over here. Stopping exactly at the border, so we need to change this a bit. If x equals negative 300, let's do if x equals negative 290, let's say. Equals negative 290. Okay, let's try that. Okay, still a bit too, still it's like a guillotine, it's chopping the turtle's head off. But you can play around with those numbers, and I think that's it for this video actually. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Hope you enjoyed.